It's a new week and there were tons of home screen submissions for me to comb through, so I went through them, I picked my favorites, and since so many people asked, I'm also going to critique my own. My name is Taylor Martin, you're watching XDA TV, and this is the Homescreen Critique. So the first thing that's going to jump out is the wallpaper. It is a live wallpaper, so it changes with the time of day. At sunrise, it has a sunrise on the screen. At noon, the sun is in the middle of the screen, and so on and so forth. This was shown to me by somebody who submitted their own on Twitter. I don't remember who it was. I couldn't find it. I looked for it. I could not find who it was. But it's called Material Islands, and it's awesome. There are several different islands to choose from. For the last few weeks, I've been using a volcano, but I just switched to the Aspen Island. And then also the icon set is Urmun, U-R-M-U-N. It's one of my favorites. It looks great, really vibrant colors. I got rid of the clock widget because it's redundant, and I moved the weather widget, which I use Eye in the Sky for, over into the quick page, which is to the right of the home screen. And then I also have a calendar widget, which is Digical Plus. On design, I would say that I've beefed this up quite a bit. It looks a lot better than it did just 2 or 3 weeks ago. Doing these has made me want a prettier home screen. So this is not by any means minimal. It's not one of the most minimal home screens. It's not out of the way gorgeous. So I'd give it probably a 3 out of 5 stars on design, but on utility, 5 out of 5. I'm probably biased a little bit there, but still, this is as utilitarian as I can possibly get. I have everything I need at 1 or 2 touches or 1 swipe. Everything is right there. Once I unlock the screen, I don't really have to do much to get to what I need to get to. But with that out of the way, I'd like to get to the first submission, which actually came a few weeks ago. It came right after the very first video in the series, and it was submitted by DePhillips69 on the XDA post for that video. And it's gorgeous. It's very, very minimal, but not so much so that it's not useful. There's no clock widget or anything super fancy here. There's just a centered clock in the status bar, and signal indicator, a battery meter, but nothing else beyond that. Just 12 centered icons in the middle of the screen, and they're in a 3x4 grid. They're grayscale. I don't know what icon pack this is, but my problem with them is that they're not in any particular order that I can see. Media isn't together. Like, you have SoundCloud and YouTube, but they're not side by side. You would think that there would be some sort of grouping here. It's a small little annoyance, but it's not anything major. And then you have the wallpaper, which is Waves, very material-esque. It's not quite material, but it's material-esque. I would just probably personally go with a different icon pack, maybe something that blends in a little better with the background, not just white and gray over a blue background. Maybe something that even contrasts a little better. I don't know. I say it's a solid home screen. It looks fantastic. So on design, I would say probably 3 or 4 out of 5 stars. And then on utility, I'd say probably 3 out of 5 stars. Solid home screen, looks great. I really like it and could use it myself. This next one is also very minimal. It comes from callsign16 on the most recent XDA post for the last video. This one's more customized, but I think a little more minimal. Not because the wallpaper is a cityscape. I actually really like it. It's got kind of a fade, a little hipster look to it. This one also has an expose module installed. It's called Extana, and it allows you to change the status indicators and the navigation buttons. Here he's using flat style, both for the navigation buttons and the status indicators. You can definitely tell that the ones in the nav bar are very different. You're not looking at the typical circle, square, and triangle. You have lines and arrows and stuff, and I think it's cool. I like it. It fits. The battery meter isn't necessarily my favorite. It looks fine, but having text over instead of beside takes up more space than your typical battery meter, I believe. It just looks like it is taking up more screen real estate. I don't know if that matters to this guy or not, but to me it would. And then he's used UCCW to create a totally custom widget, which is nice. It's got this kind of retro tech feel to it. Centered in the home screen is what I assume is an app launcher. That's the same icon in white that I use for my app launcher. Overall in design, I'd say that it's probably 3 out of 5 stars. It's not over the top custom, even though it does have some exposed changes. I do like the nav bar a lot, and I kind of like the widget. I like where he's going with that. I wouldn't use the blue and the orange and the green, but on utility, I'd probably have to give this one 2 out of 5 stars because there's not much here. It's literally just a home screen dedicated to one button that is the app drawer. This last one comes from Tobias Richer, and it is a very stark contrast to the others. It's not minimal so much as it is very utilitarian. At the top you have a calendar widget which blends into the notification shade. You have a wallpaper in the center, and that's literally the wallpaper. And then at the bottom you have an app launcher. The leftmost icon is actually a folder which he says links to some bookmarks and some other things that he uses frequently. The player there, the media player, is his media player of choice, which is Pulsar Music Player, and then that's Chrome and WhatsApp. And tapping any of those will obviously take you to those apps. Tapping on the wallpaper in the center actually takes you to the gallery, and then obviously if you tap anywhere on the calendar icon, it opens the calendar. I have to say, while this is not typically my style, I like it. It's clean, very organized, there's not much out of place. I would say that I would personally use different icons, maybe something that kind of fits the rest of the scheme here. You've got just square hard lines everywhere and then 4 round icons. I would go with something maybe a little different. And also you have 3 white and 1 green, and I can't. I can't with that. I will say that it almost gives you the feeling of Windows Phone or something like that. Maybe even a digital assistant app that has all the things you need in one place, because it takes up the whole screen. There's nothing left over. Even though you do have that wallpaper in the middle, it just feels like something other than Android just looking at it. And I don't hate it. On design, I'd say that this is probably a 3 out of 5, maybe a little less, like 2.5 out of 5, just because it's not necessarily pretty to look at. But utility, I'd say 4.5 out of 5, right? I mean, it's got everything you need. It is set up exactly for this dude. Has everything he needs right there on the home screen, and I dig it. I dig it, man. But that is gonna do it for this video. If you found it helpful and you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you would like your home screen to be featured in the next video, go ahead and submit it by clicking the link down below and posting it in the XDA forums. You can also tweet me or share it on the XDA post. There are a lot of ways to get it to me. Be sure to share information about it, like what icon packs you're using, what launcher you're using, any customizations, or how it works for you. Also, don't forget to follow XDA pretty much everywhere. Subscribe here on the channel if you haven't done so already. And if you'd like to see more of me, you can find me on my personal channel, Mod at Home, where I do some DIY stuff, a little tech things, just different odds and ends. And of course, one last time, my name is Taylor Martin. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at CasperTech, and I will see you in the next one.